So Heba, if you don't know Heba, she's the EPMO lead for. You can tell us what your proper title is, Heba, but for the Dubai municipality. And if you don't know, Heba has personally won the PMO Leader of the Year from the PMO GA a couple of times. The only person on the planet to have done that, by the way. The PMO that Heba leads has won PMO of the Year a couple of times. So, you know, we're honored, and it's always a delight to have Heba online. And the reason that we're here tonight, or today, or this morning, depending where you are in the world, is because Heba has a new book out. And in that book, she has distilled her thinking about leadership. And I was lucky enough to get a copy when it was in draft, and then an early proof copy. And I really, there are a lot of books on leadership out there. And this one for me was a little different. You'll find out why over the next 45 minutes or so. And so now the book is actually finally released and a bestseller. Woo! I thought it would be great to have Heba join us and share some of your thoughts on leadership. So I'm gonna zip it now. Well, you know me. How long's that gonna last? Not long.
A minute, maybe.
Yeah, if you're lucky. So I'm going to zip it and let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit, Heba, about leadership and I'm so excited about this. I can't stop talking because it's Heba's also an artist, and you're going to see a lot of that instinct coming out. Yeah, there you go, right behind. So some of that's going to come out, I'm sure, over the next little while. So Heba, over to you.
First of all, thank you so much, Stuart, for having me. I'm so excited about this session. I think I've been looking forward to it for like more than 3 months, maybe, since the book was out. We were planning it. I'm very happy that my first book is finally out, Elements of Leadership. I can say that I am a PMO expert. I've been in Dubai municipality for 20 years. However, I think the experience from the PMO community has fed a lot into my own character, into my own way of leading. And also from all of the people that I was mentoring over the past years, the people I'm working with in different organizations, all of this kind of experience I try to put together in one book. But it's not about let's say the intellectual and the very rigid side of the PMOs. It's about the human element, the human aspect of leadership in general. So it's a book for everyone who is just getting there as a leader, just starting, or even experienced leaders. And it doesn't have to be about PMOs, but it can be applied for everyone. So that's briefly about the book and about me. Yes, I am an artist. So this is one of my pieces that I participated in an art fair in Ras Al Khaimah in the UAE. I'm also a mother, a wife, and I'm a volunteer with PMI as the PMO GA MENA Hub lead with America, of course. Yeah, so that's briefly about me.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. So just very quickly to answer Erica's question, yes, Heba's going to put up a QR code later on, so you'll be able to just go straight through to the book.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Heba, you put a few slides together. Why don't we kick off with those? And I'm sure it'll devolve into just a conversation at some point.
Sure.
But let's pretend we've got some structure.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. That's brilliant.
Okay, so I want to talk about the book in general, what's it about, and why did I select the elements of nature to present my ideas in the book. So it's called Elements of Leadership. And I think, Stuart, you already talked about me, so we can skip that. It's a guide. It's not a book. It's a guide that explores how the essence of nature, the elements, air, water, earth and fire, are embedded within all of us. It's within us, it's around us, and probably that's the part where my artistic side and my Pisces side get together. This is how I see things. I see things in kind of metaphors, trying to resemble the emotional side, learning from the emotional side instead of learning from the rigid side. So I wanted to put that in the book, kind of linking the nature and the emotional side with all of the human-centric leadership aspects that I wanted it to be linked with. So the key is actually you can be like, the other day I was having a dinner with Americo, and I told him, I signed his book as "You Are the Water. You remind me of the water." And he did talk about that during dinner. He said, sometimes I think of myself as water. I'm adapting. I'm moving all over the place and trying to fit whatever goals and aims I want within whatever situations that I am in. So I told him, this is how I see you. This is your main element to me, the water element. But at the same time, Americo and every other leader as well can also be any other leadership element at any point of time. So it depends on the situation. It depends on the challenge that you are facing. You can kind of adapt, balance, call them in whenever you need them. So this is the main idea of it. So if you're talking about air, be cool as the breeze. Be the leader that everyone will enjoy walking into the room. The energy that they will give out is like a positive energy. They have an open door policy. They can easily communicate with people. Be fluid and float. So for you to be adaptable and float and carry your team with you, you also need to establish trust. So trust is part of the water, for example. Be adaptable like the earth. Earth changes very quickly, but can also change very slowly. And that the change management of whatever you do is really important in order for you to get something so beautiful, like a beautiful beach, for example. And be quick as fire. Fire is all about learning something new, being passionate to find your own passion. You have to find the thing that you love and to learn along the way, be a lifelong learner. So this is just a brief. And here are some key elements that are linked to each one of them, like air, inspiration, influence, adaptability, vision, and direction. So each one of them, I dig deeper into those in the book and provide you with more of a guidelines on how to balance all of these together and how to find them within yourself. Water is about fluidity, adaptability, trust, resilience, authenticity. Earth, stability. So it's like similar to what Gartner is always covering in their articles, mode 1 and mode 2. You need the stability in the earth to be able to change and adapt with mode 2, which is like the innovation that can be also the fire. Innovation, empowerment, passion, and resilience. So leadership is about knowing which element to them within 10 minutes. From my point of view, there are 4 main leadership pillars to foster human-to-human connections. First, lead people with love, not fear, because if they fear you, they will not last with you. They will not be loyal to you, and they will not be loyal to the organized. They will just give you what you want, just because they have to, not because they want to. They won't do it with love. And if they do it with love, then you will guarantee quality, you will guarantee productivity, and you will guarantee that those people will stay with you. Lead with respect, because also respect is the foundation of any relationship. Any strong relationship needs to. And where people shout and scream at employees, thinking that they are the bosses and they are entitled to do that and they can do that. And it's very disrespectful, and it leaves it give you what you want. So respect is really important, not just in work, in general. It's very important. Lead with trust. And in GPMF, actually, my speech was about trust, like how important it is to build the relationships within your teams, and think about, they will not just trust you, you will trust them. So it's like a two-way street. And lead with kindness. So kindness, it's something really, really
Okay, so
important to me. It's like the last.
Heba, sorry to interrupt. I think your line keeps cutting out a little bit. I don't know if you want to perhaps disconnect and reconnect. I'll tap dance while you're doing that or something. The screen keeps freezing.
Okay.
And I just checked with people, and I thought it was my bandwidth that was the problem, but I think it might be yours.
Okay.
Fabulous.
Okay, let me see if I can. So
while Heba has a quick look at that, what I'd love to do is, Heba's talking about all these different aspects, and the idea is that you embody different elements at different times in different situations, right? It's kind of part of the idea here. So what I'd love to do, just really quickly, just jump onto the keyboard, and just, if there's one of those elements that represents you most of the time, which would it be? Right. So which of those sounded most like you in your default mode, right? When you're just sort of behaving normally. And then I've got another question to follow up with. Okay, we're getting lots of respect and kindness. What about the elements? Are you wind? Are you fire?
Can you hear me now?
There you go. That sounds good. That sounds good.
Okay, changed my Wi-Fi. I think we're good.
We've got quite a lot of earth and water on this on the session here.
Yeah.
A little bit of wind. I think I might be a bit windy, Erica, actually. I might have to confess to that.
What did I sign your book? I think I signed your book as Earth, maybe.
I think you might. I can't quite remember, actually. I'd need to go and read it again. Yeah, thank you, Ashok. That's bringing it right down to basics there. So Heba, why don't you pick up where you were there? You were talking about kindness, and then yeah, and we'll see how the connection goes.
Okay, so I was saying that the chapter of kindness was the last chapter I added in the book, and I chose to delay the launch of the book because I really needed to add it in the book, and why it's very important to me is that I've been told before that my kindness will hold me back, Like I won't be an effective and good leader if I was kind with people. But over the years, I learned to balance kindness with authority and respect and trust and add that all in the mix. And it worked. So probably this is the thing that's really important for leaders to keep that in mind, because as leaders, we need to show authority, yes, to help provide structure. We need structure. We need to set goals. We need to drive performance. And we need to ensure that the team is focused on achieving the organization's objectives. But this means that we need to make difficult decisions. We need to deliver sometimes tough feedback. And I talk about feedback and how the feedback can be delivered within the book itself. But at the same time, we need to balance kindness with authority to make sure that the team understand that we're working together. They are our partners. We're working together towards a common goal. And the responsibilities are really crucial when it comes to any organization. So there have to be clear responsibilities. And they need to understand as well what's the importance of their own contributions to the organization. So it comes down to how you balance authority and kindness. And I have more chapters in the book about the specifics of this. So that's the main, let's say, idea. I just try to cover a small part of the book, but there is more from that in the book, and you can scan this QR code and get your copy.
Fantastic.
And lead with your inner nature. Yes,
lead with your inner nature. So yeah. we've got a lot of earth and water, I think, on the call. So my first question, and by the way, I'm gonna ask a few questions. What I'm really hoping is that you guys will all ask questions, because I don't have that much imagination, and I'll run out of ideas after 2 or 3. So why don't you all jump in? No, it's just not true, is it, Heba? But if you guys ask questions, then it's going to be far more interesting for you, and probably more interesting for Heba as well to address things that you're interested in. So do jump in with questions or comments, and we'll get Heba's reaction. So talk to us a little bit, Heba, about how you see, if I'm predominantly naturally water or earth, right? But sometimes I have to manifest fire, right? How do you do that? How do you learn to do that? Because it's difficult to kind of manifest different sides of yourself, right?
Yeah, but I think at some point you might even manifest all 4 at the same time. It depends on the situation. Maybe you can be in a certain meeting dealing with someone as water, like your direct supervisor, and then talking to your employees as fire, because you need to encourage them, and talking to your stakeholders as water, because you need to increase trust. So it can be like it won't be, of course, a flip of a switch, but it's something that you learn. And I think intuitively, this is why it's important for us to link nature, because it is intuitive. And you as a leader, intuitively, you will be able to do that very quickly, and you will notice yourself doing that from one challenge to the other, or in one situation to the other. So it's not going to be that hard.
Okay. So one of the things that stuck with me when I read the book was about as a leader, taking care of yourself is important. Do you want to talk about that for a while? Because again, most books on leadership focus on, do this and do that, and be strong and be, all these sorts of things.
Yeah.
But you start with, take care of yourself. So talk a little bit about that, if you would.
Yeah. When you're a leader, or let's say when you're a boss, most of the time, you might have less friends, less connections at work. So whatever you do at work, it's like you feel lonely. You feel lonely as a leader, and it's important for you to not to kind of don't forget that there's a life beyond work, and you need to focus on your own life, and you focus on your own family, friends, all of that. So I do talk about taking care of yourself, but also part of it is having your own support system, like your own friends that can be with you along the way, avoid judging you for anything that you do, just give you the advice that you need whenever you need it. So probably it's different. It's not just the mental side of it, or you taking care of yourself physically or mentally. It's about feeling like you're not alone in this, and it's important for you to get those around you that will help you feel like you are supported, you are being carried along your journey.
And when you do that, you actually have more resilience,
more energy to give
energy
back,
to support people. Yeah, exactly.
To give back, exactly.
So it's actually, you know, this isn't Heba saying be nice to yourself to be nice to yourself. It's as a leader, you need to be nice to yourself so that you then have the energy and the space and the emotional flexibility to be able to support the team better.
If you're a true leader, you will feel responsible, and the big responsibility is it's a lot to take in. So having that responsibility might mean that you can overwork, you can forget about work-life balance, you can forget about taking care of yourself, and you will, at the end of the day, you'll feel like you are really being burned, like a candle burning, you know. And yes, you might progress in the organization, and the organization will be okay, and you'll achieve your goals and everything. But at the end of the day, you're not thinking about yourself, your health, and all of these things actually manifest as health issues without you noticing them. All of the stress and all of the pressure that you put yourself in. So this is why it's very important for you to take care of yourself.
Rebecca has a quick request, Heba. Could you go back to the slide where you're showing the different elements? I suspect she's either wanting to take notes or has a question there. And then while you're doing that, Ashok it basically says, you know, when you've got a lot of things going on as a leader, there's urgency and things that need solving quickly. How do you avoid just going into just do this mode, right? So how do you take that step back and make time to be kind when you're under pressure?
See, first of all, it won't be only about kindness. It will be about clarity and clear roles and responsibilities. So if you're asking them to do something, you have to give them the time to give you feedback about this task, because they might have more, let's say, better way to do it, faster way to do it. So it's important for you to open a channel of a two-way communication once you give them an assignment to do, let's say. So this is number one. And the second thing is to be clear about the assignment and when do you need it, and why do you need it so urgent? Because sometimes the urgency is not there. You think that a report has to come because it's like the end of the quarter, and then you pressure people to do it. But at the end of the day, it's the pressure that's set by the boss, because they just want that on that day. So we have to be very, very clear about that. If it's not that urgent, the leader should request it like way ahead of time for the people. Give them time to prepare for it and be ready for it. So think about the urgency. Is it really urgent?
Sort of a related question. So when your boss is giving you lots of urgency and applying pressure, how do you deal with that? Do you pass that pressure on to your team? How do you personally cope with that? Because that's something we've all had.
Yeah. I open up to my team. So if I have a pressure from my managers, I open up and tell them why I'm being pressured to do that. But I don't pressure them. I try to kind of what do you call it? Divide that pressure with the team that I am trusting in my PMO and ask them, okay, guys, we can do this. You can do that. You can do that. And what do you think about dividing the task? And do you think you will be able to do it on time? If not, then are we going to present with a better quality if we take longer time? And then we keep coming and going. And I am lucky that I have managers and bosses that can also listen to me. So if they give me a pressure to do something on a certain date or a task, I can consult my team and come back and say, okay, I can give a draft on that date, but I can make it better on another date. And most of the time I do that.
And I think there's something in there about leadership with that the ability to do that isn't always given. Sometimes it's earned, right? And you earn it by being honest and clear and transparent to the best of your ability, right?
Exactly.
So, there are going to be times, it might be uncomfortable, but there are going to be times as a leader where you need to turn to your boss or to one of your peers and say, I really can't deliver that, or something. And those are sometimes the hardest times as a leader, because if you go and say, yeah, okay, we'll find a way to get it done, that's not leadership. And it's going to undermine your position as a leader, because you'll build a reputation as someone that overpromises, underdelivers. That's not leadership. I don't know what it is, but it's not leadership.
Exactly.
So
plus I think over the years you can actually build that trust. So if you give a date that you will deliver on a date, and then you keep your promise every time and you give good quality, over the years your bosses will listen to you. They will listen to you when you say, no, I can't do that on that time. And if I do that, then the quality will be affected. So it's actually building trust. Plus, if you absolutely have to give in to the pressure and give something that's very tight in deadline, very huge in impact, then you will have to depend on your team. And if you depend on your team, you have to have a great relationship with them, trust from both ways, and listening from them about all of the pressures that they might be facing, solving their issues, avoiding their blame. So you'll have to have that really true leadership relationship between you and your employees, or your partners, as I call them, for them to give you what you want on a tight deadline.
Excellent. Yeah. And related to that, I think I'm going to take Ashok's question about, having a supportive team is the way to go. Takes time to develop. How do you develop that support? And I'm going to expand that question and also add in, and how do you build that trust? You just talked about having two-way trust. So how do you build that trust with your team?
Yeah. So first, how to build the team? I think I can give you a story. When I first started in the PMO, I hired a few people, like a fresh graduate who joined my team. And from day one, I noticed that he was willing to learn, but he wasn't happy. It's like he was bored with the desk jobs, and he was just moving all over the place trying to find information, but he just couldn't sit behind a desk working on a project management system. And I sat with him and I asked him, he was an engineer. I asked him, what do you like to do? Like, what's your passion? Are you a person who likes to work with their hands? He said, yes, I do. I used to have like inventions at home. I used to do stuff by myself, and I'm not a person who can actually sit behind a desk and just settle with it. So the PMO job is like you are reporting about project. You are not really in the project. So I had to let go of that team member, although he was a very bright young man. He had huge potential, but because it wasn't his passion to be working in the PMO, I had to let go of him and recommended him to be in one of the departments that had the projects that they were working in is actually infrastructure and under the ground and all of that. And that's the thing that he loves. So for you, as a leader, you need to be able to spot that. Are the people in your team passionate about the work that they are doing? If they're not, you're not getting the right combination of team members within your organization. They need to be passionate about it. They need to find what they like, and even within my team, I know their strength and the stuff that they need to work on improving. Like I know that a certain lady is really good in research, and she's really good in articulating the reports and all of that. So I kind of give her that. The other one is good in linking things together. There's one that's really good in critical thinking. So I assigned the work to them based on their own strength, and I know that they love it. So that's really important. And okay, yeah.
Well, and the thing that's coming out in that is, and yeah, the very first time I saw you on stage, Heba, this was the thing that just leapt off the stage. And I think the word that captures it best is kindness, right? Is that you care about the people as much as you care about the job or the goals of the business or anything else. And so, quick question for people in the audience. Just give me a yeah or give me a boo, actually, if you've worked for someone who you just really did not enjoy working for. I know I have. I've had a couple of those leaders, a couple of those people in my life over the years. So give me a quick boo if you've had somebody. Yeah, okay. So we all know what that feels like. And you know the thing. Wow. Oh yeah, we even got some boo-hoos in there. That's good. So we all know what that feels like. And so so now give me a yeah if you've worked for people that really inspired you and that you felt loyalty for and you would really work hard to make it happen. And yeah, I'm hoping most people can say, oh, Lenora works for me. Look at that. Good grief.
Of course.
But right, so most of us had that experience as well, and very often the thing that differentiates the two is, you know, that manager actually, you get the idea, the feeling that they care for you, right? They care about the business, of course, but they care about you as well. So that's one thing just to kind of think about in your own style is, do I genuinely care how people are, or am I just going through the motions? And you know, and it can be difficult, right? When you're under time pressure, it can be difficult to make time to care and to ask questions. And I know I wrestle with that all the time. Yeah, as the CEO of a startup, I'm always super busy. So I tell you what, there are a couple of the questions, Heba. Let me just scroll right back up through all those boos.
Yeah.
So Guy asks, do you have any stories about a situation in building or running a PMO where you have consciously applied one or more of these element pillars or misapplied them? And what have you learned from that?
It happens on a daily basis, actually. It happens in every meeting that I do with any of the stakeholders, internal or external, with my team meetings. Like last week, I had a team meeting, suddenly meeting, and we were talking about an upcoming audit. So someone was panicking, and someone was like, okay, there are too many things that are not done. And so here I had to probably be more of a fire, trying to encourage them that things will work out. And the next day they did amazing. They were like, I was so proud of them in the audit, that the auditor also talked about how the team was really working well together, and their roles and responsibilities were clear, and everyone like took on their own part with full responsibility. So it was, you know, it happens on a daily basis. In your meetings, you can easily switch off and on these elements depending on the situation.
Excellent. And are there any where you got it badly wrong, and what did you learn?
Badly wrong. I think it's the part of where you're not taking care of yourself, probably. That at some point, I had very severe eczema in one of the years, like in 2019 or 20. And it was because of stress, and it was because I wasn't taking care of myself. And I had my friends from college, they were like far away. We weren't connecting very well. And we got back together like in that year, and we're still together. So my support system was kind of missing, other than, of course, my husband was always there, but your friends are different. For us girls, our girlfriends are different. We need them. And yeah, at some point when I was overwhelmed and stressed, not just about work, about life, it manifested as severe case of eczema, because my health was affected. And yeah, I got it wrong at some point, that everything is about work. No, it's not about work. It's about living and working both together. And me as a mother also, like, people expect that you are a working mom, so it means that you have to be working as if you're not a mother or a wife, and you need to be a mother as if you're not working. So for you to be able to do that balance and to kind of give into that notion, it's really tiring, and you can't do that. You can definitely be affected at the end of the day if you're not focusing on the balance of both sides of your life.
Brilliant. So
Yeah.
So here's one, particularly for people in PMO and transformation type roles.
Yeah.
So people usually think leadership is about, managing your team, but the word is leadership, not management, right? So so we also have to lead people who are above us in the organization. We also have to lead people who are our peers in the organization.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that. How do you change your approach, or do you use these same sort of 4 elements to help you manage those relationships?
Yes, exactly. So if you're talking about the water elements, you have to be adaptable to the style of the leader that's above you. So you give them what they want, but in their own words and their own style and their own value system, let's say. But you are not also contradicting your own value system. So you are adapting, but keeping your own values and what you believe in intact. But you have to adapt. Otherwise, if you're always arguing with your boss and trying to prove that you are right and they are wrong, at the end of the day, even if they give in to your argument and you think that you won, they will resent you. And the resentment will stay and it will affect you in the future. So sometimes if your boss is very argumentative, just let them win. Let them take that win and show them with your actions, not with your words. So argument doesn't get you anywhere. I avoid argument with any of my of the people that I deal with, whether stakeholders or bosses. I show them. I can prove what I can do by showing them a certain report or whatever it is. My system, the awards that I'm getting, I'm showing them. So that's important. Avoid arguments.
Great advice. And I love the show them. I was speaking with a PMO leader in the National Health Service here some months ago, and he was struggling with even getting his executives to understand that you can't just say, do this and do this and do this forever, right? There's a limit to how much you can do. Yeah. And so together with we kind of brainstormed with a few people and just came up with this really simple thing of, well, just show them. I'd show them what the capacity is and show them where the workload is, and then ask them for their help to figure out what do you do about that. Yeah, and exactly. so he literally just, you know, one of the COO came down to him and said, here's a project, just get it done. You know, there it is. And so he said, no, come and look at this. And on a whiteboard, he literally just written up all the projects and how much capacity they used and the capacity over here. And he said, I don't have any capacity. What should I do?
Yeah.
Right. And so he wasn't saying no. He was asking for help.
But he gave them the facts and he consulted them on how to move forward. Yeah.
Exactly that. And the effect of that was that then the COO didn't see him as a blocker, understood a problem existed that he didn't understand before, and was able to do something about it. That's a great outcome. Yeah. That's leadership, right? That's leading upwards. Where, you know,
exactly.
So and it was, you know, nice and watery, as you say. It is very often quite watery when you're managing upwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So other quick questions. There was a question up here. Where is it? Here we go. So this one is an interesting question, a bit sort of technical model-y. So let's see how we get on with this one. So Ioannis asks how your work with the 4 styles, the 4 elements, relates to behavioral styles, models like DISC, so dominance, inducement, submission, compliance, for example. Or with character types. So there's some people who are task-oriented, some people are people-oriented, for example. How do you see these relating? Is it kind of saying the same thing in a different way, or?
I didn't link them, actually. They are not linked in the book, but there is a part in the book where we're talking about different leadership styles. It's like in 2 or 3 pages in the book. but this is the way I see leadership. So how the nature makes me feel, and what leadership aspect reminds me of that. So it's like you can say, I didn't want to put a leadership book that's rigid. I wanted you to always remember that if you feel a breeze, then wow, this is how I want to feel when my leader is walking in the room. So it's just trying to connect different metaphors and ideas related to nature with the leadership elements for you to remember them, for you to just keep them with you all the time. So it's not really linked to such leadership styles, but if you go through the book, you might find the resemblance between these and some elements, but not one element could be one leadership style. And not the people-oriented, it's only the water. It's like mixed of both. It's all over the place.
Yeah, and that's a good answer. The way I think of it, I think it was Albert Einstein who said, all models are wrong, but some are useful, right?
Yeah.
So all of these models are incomplete, but they're all useful in different situations. Some of them are a little bit more analytical. Some of them are a bit more, what I love about this is, for me anyway, it's kind of quite intuitive, right? To just sort of think in the moment. I don't have to sit down and say, okay, am I dealing with a D, an I, an S, or a C? Am I task oriented or something else? I like Heba's model because it is intuitive and human. At the end of the day, we're people, right?
Yeah.
We're not a set of numbers, we're not a set of indices, but those can be useful as well in different situations. So if you know, as an example, if you have a team that's not working, where you've got two people who are just banging heads or something, then sitting down and using a disc type model can be a useful way to think about that and try and unpick it.
Yeah.
So I don't think these are competing models in any way. It's just another way of thinking about it. Right?
Exactly.
So good question. And then we're getting close to the top of the hour, so I think we'll squeeze one more in. And we'll go with Ali's question, which is, I take it these elements are about our personalities outside of work as well. So can you take this into your personal life and into relationships?
So it talks about how you behave as a leader outside of work, like for example, taking care of yourself, putting your own personal development plan, having your own bucket list. So you kind of touch base on that, but it's not a relationship like kind of book for like your life partner or your kids, or it's not really focused towards that. It's focused on leadership. But maybe the next one.
Maybe the next one. There we go. There we go. Well, I did notice earlier that you said this was your first book, right? So we're all waiting for the next one. We're all waiting for the next one.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking of the idea for the next book right now. Yeah.
And we've got one last quick question, which is, what strategy and method do you use in PMO? And please don't answer, prepare the reports and give it to your manager. So that's a huge question. I mean, that's another hour, right there.
Yeah. The PMO strategy is, I don't think we will have like 5 minutes to cover it. But it's mainly adaptable, I would say. My PMO has always been adaptable. The changes that happen to the organization and whatever new thing that's happening, whether it's with the strategy team or with the management, I have to go and change the way I do things. And this is why the maturity of the PMO has increased, like from 2019 until now, it increased multiple levels. So I think the main thing is about adaptability and about having that trust where people in the organization, they trust my PMO. They're always saying good things about them and about the team and the PMO, because they're not policing them. They're giving them the oversight that they need, but they're not policing them. So that's maybe in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I think that this is kind of one of the questions that we get asked at conferences again and again, is about, you know, how do we get the executives' attention? How do we get our seat to the table? How do we stop being the PMO police or whatever it is, or just being treated as tactical report generators or whatever? And you know, I think that's a great answer. Is you know, if you're constantly adapting to whatever the problem is in the business and addressing the key problem, the key things that are stopping the organization achieving its goals, then you will be seen as adding value, and life will get an awful lot better, an awful lot quickly. And in fact, on that,
giving ideas, solutions,
absolutely. And on that note, we actually have a free consulting office, like a 1-hour workshop thing that we offer people, called the Case for Change, where we give you a framework to have that discussion with the business, right? To actually formally sit down and figure out, you know, what are the problems and
what's the challenge and how to solve it.
Yeah, what are the root causes? You know, in an hour, we don't give you all the answers or anything. That would be impossible, right? But we kind of but we give you some framework to kind of start thinking about that stuff. And actually, I'm for those of you who know Laura Barnard, right? Go read her book, Impact Engine book.com, I think it is. ImpactEngineBook.com. Yes, actually, I'm on my way to the House of PMO. I've got about 30 copies of the book in my case downstairs. But yeah, that book, a big part of that book is about how to have that conversation. So really big question. I hope in that 3 or 4 minutes we've managed to give you some steerage. But I would definitely jump, if that's something you're wrestling with, jump onto our website and book yourself a Case for Change. Lenora, if you're still on, maybe you could drop the link into the chat for anyone that's interested. That would be a good thing. Awesome. So we're right up at the top. Yes, look at this. Look at this. Completely unprompted, rapturous applause. We love you, Heba.
Okay, thank you.
Look, the key thing here is I want to thank you on behalf of everyone for bringing a new voice to leadership, right? There are lots of styles out there of leadership. There's lots of ways to climb a mountain, right? And there are lots of ways to lead a team. What you've done with this book is really helped shine a light on a human style of leadership, right? That's rooted in kindness. And I have the honor of knowing you fairly well. And so I know that is a part of who you are. And so, you know, on behalf of everybody who's going to read the book, who's been on the webinar, I want to thank you for sharing that wisdom and sharing your kindness with the rest of the world.
Thank you.
Do you want to put the QR code up again just at the end, Heba, if anybody missed it earlier? Anyone that would like...
am I not sharing the screen? Okay.
No, we're not.
I am sharing, but...
Okay. Oh, are you? Okay, all right.
Let's do this.
Oh, yes, sorry,
Is it there
pinned you. I pinned you on top. My apologies. No, fantastic. So anybody that wants a copy of the book, dive over there, grab yourself a copy. Do look out for other webinars from us. We have we cover all sorts of topics, and we try and make them kind of fun and energetic. So do look for new webinars from us. In a couple of weeks, we'll be doing a demo webinar for our portfolio management software. That's very exciting. You should come and see it. It's rather potentially game-changing. Heba was on one of those demos a couple of months ago.
It was very useful.
It was a lot of fun.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me,
thank you,
Stuart,
everybody.
and thank you for attending.
Thank you, everyone.